We can do some trainings. Jiu-Jitsu.
Art swab. I brought training props this week if you wanted to
There we go.
F around and find out.
So how do we see who's all on our...
It looks like I only had a couple of viewers, probably Simonis and Metcalf.
Our group is still pretty small, so we're...
That's what she said.
on the Facebooks. What is up, everybody? It's going down. Sunday Fun Day training with my guy, Asian Cop Jesus, aka Kyle. As usual, we're just doing murder yoga at the Global Jiu-Jitsu 5.0 World International Universal Headquarters on Sunday in our pajamas. And if you guys have any questions on techniques, on really anything police training related, anything jiu-jitsu related, you guys want to holler at us, shoot us some questions. We're happy to answer them if we can. And we'll go from there. Yeah, so, whoops.
Just warm up with a...
Yeah, do some rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday Fun Day. All right, Kyle. Yeah. Ooh. Need that. Yeah. Nice.
No!
Give me that Kimura, Kyle.
That's 2 points.
Yeah.
At least. Oh no!
Let me choke you.
I'm on TV.
Committing felonies in my basement. I didn't really set a round timer.
That's alright. Ain't no round timer on the streets.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Did you smile that time too?
I did.
No!
Let's see what we got. Shoot them. Love it. Go back. Mendoza. Mendoza 14. Os. How do you defend yourself when someone has a gun pointed at you? Pull your gun out
And shoot him.
and shoot them. Problem solved. Hopefully that answers your question.
Get out the axe.
Well, I will say this. This Krav Maga weapon fucking bullshit, disarming somebody, I don't buy into any of it. If I'm here and he points a gun at me, there's a lot of good like weapon retention stuff out there, but the main thing is just to try to get offline and get to your gun. All of this kind of shit, when I'm turning it and I'm taking it away from, like, is nonsense, right? Realistically, if someone is pointing a gun at you, I want to try to get on top of the side and at least get it away from me. Preferably, I'm going to use my opposite hand so I can draw. But really, that's kind of a shit position to be in. But I'm just not a big fan of all like the crazy, disarming.
Neither am I.
It's fucking nonsense. All right, what else we got?
Oh, I gotta show off the rash guard. This thing is sweet. I've been talking about this on Instagram and Facebook all week, but this, you need to order this rash guard. This will easily be your favorite rash guard after one use. I mean,
I didn't even pay him to say that.
Nope.
I just gave him a free rash guard.
Yeah. No, seriously though, this thing is legit.
Look how buff it makes Kyle look, too.
I'm a teeny tiny little dude. No, the sleeves, I mean, the thing I like about it that I was telling Jason earlier is I had a grips gi, and it was great, or rash guard, excuse me, and a couple other brands too, and even the other ones that you've made. This one is, when it gets wet, you're just, busting your ass on the mats.
Yeah.
This one, it doesn't get uncomfy, doesn't get itchy, it doesn't stick,
Yeah.
which I like.
I'm really happy with
It
those.
feels heavier, but it breathes really well.
Yeah. It is a little bit heavier material, but it also is going to hold up. It's not going to fray and come apart.
I like it.
You are on the money with that advice. Job 0219, thank you. Appreciate you. Camera Philomena. She says, hello, Kyle.
Yeah.
What do you think about grappling dummies? I don't own one. I do think...
Me. I'm a grappling dummy.
Yeah, well, I got Kyle. He comes over, so I use him for free. Grappling dummies can be good, though. You can work like movements and transitions and stuff with them, so they serve a purpose. Obviously, nothing can replace live rolling. But if you've got a grappling dummy, by all means, or if you want to buy one, you don't need to spend a lot of money. Maybe spend $100. Find a used one on Craigslist. There's some other companies that are making them that I've seen online too for maybe like $100, $150. So I wouldn't spend a ton of money on one, but they definitely can serve a purpose if you don't have a training partner. Yeah, we're gonna do some more rounds. Send us whatever questions that you might have. All right.
Jason's been training with the Judo Olympian.
Yeah,
so I'm a
but
little nervous.
I wouldn't call it training with him so much as being his grappling dummy, or his throwing dummy, I should say. It was a good attempt, though. I like it.
Jason's about to throw me. Watch this.
I don't know. Ooh, missed it. That's what we were working on. Chin strap. Oh! To the Kimura. I do like working from our feet, though.
That arm drag is sick. I like it.
I gotta come up with some new shit, though, because that's all I do. And eventually you're just gonna defend it.
Recognize it, baby.
I mean, try more judo. Shit's not easy, though. There you go.
You and your damn arm.
All right, I won't come over you, Kyle.
No. No. Okay, maybe.
Felony.
Definitely felony.
I think it's a super felony.
If we have any troopers watching, I'd like to file a report.
Troopers.
Maybe BCA.
We love our troopers. Don't let Kyle get twisted. We like all of our troopers.
It's hat envy.
We don't like them as much. We like more than firefighters.
That's fair.
Whew. Alright. So you got any other questions coming in?
Who is that?
What up, fam?
Blue belt, and why does he suck?
Who is that handsome Asian feller?
Asian cop Jesus.
What if someone grabs you from behind when you're not looking? That's a good question. That's from. Do you know this person? Kimura, Philemon.
Oh, Philomena. Yeah. Philomena Kimura.
Yeah, so we have some stuff on our YouTube channel for rear, like bear hug defense. So it really depends on what the guy's doing. If he has your arms in, or if he has your arms up. So from this position, first thing I want to do is try to base out, and I'm almost gonna like drive back into him a little bit. I'm pushing my hips forward, and I'm gonna try to take this top hand and start to roll it off and break out of it. Am I bleeding on you? Sorry, bro. God damn it.
A little bit.
A little blood.
That's all right.
I burned myself on my oven the other day.
Well,
Making a pizza. So the first thing is I want to make sure that I'm peeling off that top hand. Oh, thanks, buddy. That's number one, all right? Because usually that's the biggest battle if someone's were to grab you from behind like that. Just gonna tape myself up here real quick. Thanks, buddy. If my arms are in, number one thing, again, similar to the first thing that we just did, I want to drop down into a good athletic positions, and I'm shooting my arms forward. So notice what happens to Kyle. If he's squeezing tight, and I'm here, now I can step either into the clinch, right? I've got some options that I can do from there. I can come in to the body fold takedown. There's a lot of options, but I would say those are probably the two most common things if someone's gonna come and grab you from behind. Another thing you can do, and Kyle does this to me sometimes when I go and I arm drag to the rear clinch, you can try to grab their leg. So if he's low at my waist, if I can get to this leg, maybe I can grab a pant leg or his ankle. Is this your good knee or your bad knee?
that's my bad knee, but just don't compress it.
Okay, so I'm basically pulling his leg out as I sit my hips back into him. And now we're on the ground. It's a new fight, but there is a knee bar from there that you can attempt. I'm not going to do it to his bad
And
knee.
he's not going to drag you to the car.
Right.
He's not going to be able to, from there, take your back.
Yeah, so I would say number one, peel the hand if your arms are out. If your arms are in, shoot low, get those hands out. And then if those aren't working, let's just go through all of them. So option one, athletic position, push my hips forward, start to peel this hand off as I'm pushing my hips. If my arms are in, shoot my hands out, step around into the clinch, body fold takedown. Option three, maybe those aren't working, I can't get to this position. If his leg is here, I'm gonna grab it, sit it through. Now I can try to at least turn back into him, establish head control, and work to get back on top or get back to my feet. So hopefully that helps you out. Just call me Phil for short if you can't say my name. Will do. Sorry about that. No self-defense or cop related. Do you work leg locks? I've been starting to play with them a little bit more, particularly from X guard or single leg X. I'll keep that ankle, and I've been going for more ankle locks. So if I can see here, if I go to single leg X guard with Kyle, and I go to sweep him here, I'm keeping this ankle on this side, keeping my foot on his hip, and I'm applying pressure going back, keeping my knees pinched nice and tight.
Let's stand up.
Yeah. Do it maybe
270 here.
this way.
Yeah.
So when I take him down and I've secured this ankle, this is a pretty basic option, but I like it because fundamentals work. Taking this foot, putting it on his hip. This knee, my foot's under his butt, and I'm pinching my knees. Now I can either grab my lapel, Gable Grip, figure four. I tend to find that my lapel is usually the easiest, and I want to be nice and low. If you think that you're if you're low enough, you're probably still not low enough, because sometimes you'll try to apply it, and really all you're doing is applying pressure on the guy's calf. So think about getting right on his Achilles. Now I can sit in, and to apply pressure, what I'm really doing is putting this part of the blade of my wrist on Kyle's Achilles here. You can feel that, right? Like I don't even have to really do it very hard, but if I'm low enough and I secure this,
That's already tight.
I can manipulate it that way. So those are just a couple details. I really like doing it from single leg X. I've also been playing with more heel hooks lately. They're illegal, I think, in gi, except IBJJF was talking about allowing them.
Huh.
But in all the other tournaments, a lot of the no-gi tournaments, you see them all the time. I think it's just an IBJJF thing right now. I'm really sorry about my meth feet.
Oh, it's gross.
They're so gross.
Just kidding. It's fine. We've all been there.
So hopefully that gives you some options to
Tyler
work
checked in on the group. Oh, no, he left. What a wiener.
You guys are awesome. Really helpful material for LEO. Appreciate you. Thank you. Happy to help out. Concerned about losing mobility from back mount. Can you guys show arm extractions from knee on top? So you're talking about knee on belly, BDW training?
Probably.
Yeah, we've shown a few of these. So
You go to knee on belly a lot.
I like knee on belly. That's probably my go-to position when I can get it. So a couple of things. I mean, normally what the guy's going to do is he's going to start to try to push this knee off and turn into you. Yeah, because if he gets that and he pushes it off, well, now it's a new fight. I got to go to side control, or he's going to try to, get back to guard. So anticipate that if you go knee on stomach, especially with an untrained suspect on the street, he's going to try to push your knee off because he doesn't like this, right? So two options that I really like. First one, there's this hole right here, right, where his arm's at. I'm going to secure this as he pushes and turns into me. I'm just going to let him do that. And now I can set up the Kimura from here. Get this behind his back. Drag him onto his stomach. All right, that's one option. Or, second option, same thing, except instead of going under here, I'm just going to trap his wrist, and as he turns into me, I'm going to weave this arm through, set up the Kimura. Same thing, put it behind his back, drag him onto his stomach. So those are a couple of really good options. Another one you can do, you can drag this arm too. So like if I'm here and I 2-on-1, he goes to push in, I can drag this and go into a handcuffing position from there. So there's 3 options that you can play around with. Hopefully that makes sense. Literally just worked this the other day at the gym. Definitely useful for LE, 100%. Knee on belly for cops, probably one of the best positions that you can get to. Because how many times have we gotten somebody on the ground, they get to their back, they're kicking, they're flailing on their legs, everybody's trying to grab an arm, whatever, like just pass their guard, go to knee on stomach, control the arm, establish a Kimura, put it behind their back.
I responded to a mutual aid bar fight with like 150 people, so everybody went. And the one guy I was in charge of, I just held him in knee on belly, side control until another guy came over and we handcuffed him along with 60 other people. Ran out of cuffs.
That's perfect, dude. That's a great example.
And that was with like, God, I had maybe 6 months in at the gym.
Nice.
Just those basic fundamentals are so important for cops.
Yep. But enough to understand the positions and like positional control.
Yep.
That's a big part of it too, is like, Kyle makes a good point. You don't, if you get into a dominant position on somebody, you don't necessarily have to do any sort of crazy submission, especially when you're working, right? Like, just get into the position, control the guy or gal until your backup arrives.
Yep.
Let them gas themselves out. You know, you can hold someone in knee on belly or side control mount for several minutes.
Yep.
if you train it a lot, right? So, do you prefer gi or no gi? I'm a big gi guy. CRS, BJJ. No gi is awesome too. I think for our job, this comes up all the time.
I think it depends on where you're working too.
I think it does depend on where you're working. For me, it's not so much what the bad guy's wearing, because I hear that a lot. Well, the bad guy doesn't wear gi. I understand that. But we wear gear no matter where we work. From Minnesota to California, like, we wear heavy gear, right? And so the gi doesn't necessarily replicate our heavy gear, but it definitely adds another layer, and it does add weight, and it restricts your movement more than no gi does, if that makes sense. So I think if you have time, train both. I prefer gi. I would spend more time in the gi if you're a cop. But like I said, if you got time, for sure do both. Do you ever train striking combined with ground stuff? Yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of the punch cover clinch. I used to box amateur, had some amateur fights. I like striking. You can play around with it, like, you can add slaps, right? Like, we're not gonna slap the shit out of each other, but like,
very relevant for current events.
If I've got if I've got Kyle in my closed guard, like, you can add a little bit of like slaps and try to like work on keeping him away and controlling his sleeves, right? And you can go 50%, whatever.
Gentle pain reinforcement.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good thing to do, just to get used to somebody kind of throwing haymakers, throwing blows at your face. If you want to put on gloves and mouth guards, one guy can wear gloves, then the other guy just defends. Our guy, Craig Hunami, he works in Washington.
Yeah.
He works in Washington. He's a big promoter of Jiu-Jitsu for law enforcement. I think he's still a purple belt. Maybe he's a brown belt now.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's very good. He puts out a lot of videos with partners that have like the 4-ounce MMA gloves, and they'll just be kind of going 50%, but they're adding strikes to the mix, and it's a really good thing. If you're comfortable doing it, I think you should, and I encourage that.
I think for no other reason, cops should seek out things like Muay Thai and boxing, just to know what it's like to get punched in the face.
Yep.
Because if you don't know what that's like, that's gonna take you back. Like, it's gonna stun you. Doesn't matter who's hitting you or how hard.
Yep. And we promote that punch cover clinch drill a lot too. And a lot of it is just getting used to like that clinch response, and like Kyle said, getting used to having someone throw punches at you, right? So I'm more comfortable. I do this maybe 20, 30 times just to kind of get that down. Boom. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Right? And that's usually how those fights are. It's that big haymaker. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see an untrained person on the street throwing like straight punches, right? Like, throwing jabs and like doing head movement and stuff. You're not going to see that a lot. It's this big,
Hopefully, yeah.
wind up, or they're throwing like multiple punches. You see like punches coming down from over here. People do crazy stuff. When I used to coach boxing, I would tell newer fighters, like, straight punches win fights. So if you guys ever gonna throw blows with anybody, throw straight punches because people don't know how to defend against that. Wild haymakers are easy because a lot of times all you gotta do is duck or kind of move out of the way. But like straight punches, a lot more difficult to defend if you've never trained on your feet. Solo drills to get good at knee on belly. I use a kick shield. Yeah, I mean, you could grab, like, if you've got,
Fuck, you use a gym bag.
you could do whatever, yeah. You could do a foam roller if you wanted to. So you could be here, because it's a little bit, gives you a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Movement instability.
Instability, yeah. So you could come here, windshield wiper, go to the other side, windshield wiper, and all I'm doing, I'm windshield wiper with my back leg. So I'm here, knee on belly. I'm bringing this over. Well, this is moving on me, but I'm bringing this over as I replace my knee, and I come back out. Windshield wiper here, windshield wiper here. So that's one drill you can do if you have a foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, you can just practice it here. So
If you guys have kids.
transition, transition. You can start in side control and work on hopping up, transitioning, coming back to side control, hopping up, transition. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. But like Kyle said, you could use a gym bag, you could use a pillow, you could use
Your neighbor's kid.
yeah, kidnap somebody.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool.
So yeah, I really like the foam roller though, because it's not stable and it gives you a little bit, it's more realistic. Knee alright?
Yeah, no, it's sore, it's tight. Trained 4 days this week, so I'm a little.
I was the same, this is my fifth day. Kind of feeling it a little bit. Alright. Should we do another round while we wait for some more questions to come in? I think we covered everyone so far. Turn up some beats. Ooh, that's another thing. Oh, here we go. What takedown to cuffing position do you like to go for a standing resisting suspect? I'm big on arm drag to the rear clinch to takedown. Another one we've shown in the past that I like a lot is the chin strap. Some cops don't feel comfortable with it because they're worried about getting bit. But the chin strap, you want to face this way. I'm going to underhook one side. Doesn't really matter which one. For sake of the camera angle, I'll go this way. But so I'm going to underhook Kyle's right shoulder, and then I'm going to grab him underneath his chin, and I'm going to turn his head down by his chin as I control that underhook, and I'm just going to take him to the ground. So I'm here, turn, and notice he goes down really quick. The arm's right here to move it into a Kimura handcuffing position. I'm going to show that from another angle maybe if we go... Yeah. Let's go this way. We want to face the camera?
Yeah.
So Kyle's this way. I'm underhooking. I'm grabbing his chin. Kyle, bite me as hard as you can. Yeah, it's not... I'm under his chin. I'm not on his mouth. Now, if you grab his mouth, he might be able to bite you. But even then, if I cover his mouth, it's hard for him to bite me from there, right? So I understand the concern about getting bit, but it's not as likely as you might think it is, especially because you notice how quick you went down, right?
And you're doing this dynamically.
Yeah. I'm not giving him a lot of time to think about like, oh, I could bite this cop in his fucking hand, right?
If you want to do this real time maybe, or just to show how dynamic it is.
So you're my bad guy?
So like, you know, put your
Maybe
hands
you're
behind
talking
your back.
shit to my partner.
Yeah.
And I know you're under arrest, right?
Yep.
You're ready, right?
Yep.
Alright, so Kyle's talking shit to my bad guy. I can come up, boom, here, work him onto his back, fight's over, right? So you're doing it quick. Kyle doesn't really have a lot of time to think about biting my hand. If he does, well, like what I always tell people, it's a fight and you might get hurt.
Yep.
You might get an owie.
You were told that in academy, you might get hurt.
Right. The best way to avoid getting punched in the face, kicked, bit, spit on, is not to fight with people. That you're guaranteed to not get hurt if you just don't engage.
The bank is hiring financial advisors.
Right. What about when you're about to get a kick on your private parts? What about when you're about to get a kick on your private parts? There is one, you can, if someone's kicking, we train this a little bit, like if they go to kick, like stepping off line and trying to like catch the leg. Kicks are tough though, like if you add a little bit of Muay Thai in the mix, I know those guys will like, they block it here with their shins and stuff. I'm not a Muay Thai guy, I know that's one defense that they do. But I would say if someone's kicking at you, monitor that and just like, try to capture a leg, right? Like, or shoot in for a double leg, a single leg, whatever the case might be.
I like the double leg idea. Like if someone starts kicking me right, and they right away.
Just blast them.
Yep. Fuck you for trying to kick me. Now you get to kiss the ground. I don't know.
In my experience too, with like, I've been in a lot of street fights at work, obviously most of us probably have. Most guys aren't kickers.
No.
Most guys are gonna try to punch you, or they try to wrestle you.
I think the scenario you see the kicking the most is right here where you're like,
If you got him like, if you got him pinned up against the wall, that's a good point.
that's where I get kicked. Where I get kicked. But
Kind of the mule
I did
kick.
get embarrassing, another bar fight mutual aid deal. We had a guy on his guy was prone and they were handcuffing him, and I went to grab his legs and I didn't have good positioning. He mule kicked me backwards onto my back.
That sucks.
It was embarrassing. It was on camera.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing the Facebook Live thing.
Yep.
There goes the Asian cop. Wee.
I saw that guy on social media.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have gone over it, but moves to get people's hands out from under them when they lay on top of them. Yeah, we can show you those. Let me go back one here. I don't grab the chin. I open my hand, palm is facing her away from his cheek and pull. Somehow it feels right. Yeah, Frankie for BJJ, that's a good option too, for the chin strap takedown. It's a great one. Joey 925 for getting people's hands out. Do you want to face the camera? Yeah, like that. So we've shown this one a bunch. One option I like probably the most is when one partner goes back mount, your other partners are here. Obviously I'm not doing this by myself, but I will trap one of his arms with my knee. So in this instance, I'm gonna trap his left arm. And then I'm just gonna take my forearm and put it on the mat, and I'm gonna drag his head to that same side because I've taken away his post arm, right? So I'm here, and I start to drag. Notice what happens to his arm. If I need more, I can continue to drag until it's really uncomfortable. Do you like that, Kyle?
Not at all.
He doesn't like it, right? So we can start to work this arm out. It still might be a fight, but the harder he fights against it, I just keep applying that pressure on his head and dragging it, and this arm will come out. Once we get this arm out, we'll stick that behind his back, and then we'll just work to the other side. Keep dragging. As it starts to come out, I can even grab it here at the elbow. This is a really good position, and I can start to work it out from there. So that's one really good option. Another one that works, again, none of this stuff works 100% of the time. If there's anyone out there that tells you that it does, they're full of shit. So you might have to transition from one thing to the next thing if it's not working. First one I showed is pretty high percentage. We've used that on the street a bunch. Definitely works. This one does too. Again, partner on either side. I start to use my knee to wedge it in between his arm and his ribs. I'm gonna keep him controlled either by pushing down on the back of his head or maybe even grabbing like his shirt collar and his waist so he can't build the house and try to get back up to his knees. Yeah, see now it's difficult for him to do that. And once I've wedged this in between, I can step, drag. Notice what happens to his arm. Now I can reach through, grab this, put it behind his back while my partner does the exact same thing on the other side. So those are a couple of really good options. There's probably a lot of ways to do it. Those are ones that we teach because, again, I've used them on the street. I find them to be...
Yeah, it looks a whole hell of a lot better than beating the guy.
Yeah, what doesn't work is this shit, right? Like, boom, boom, boom. We see it all the time. It might, but if this guy's really jacked up and pissed off, he's not really feeling pain. And we've seen it a million times, not only like in my personal experience, but just like in training videos. That stuff rarely works. So we have to think about it from like, we hear it in Jiu-Jitsu, using leverage, body mechanics. That's what we're talking about, where if I'm dragging Kyle's head to this side, he can't post out, well, his body naturally is gonna start to open up, right? Same thing with that one that we just did. My knee is just like a lever. I'm pushing his arm out. And eventually he's not strong enough to fight it here, and he has to open up. So those are just some things to consider. I know it's easy to get jacked up sometimes when someone's not giving you their hands, but take a deep breath, slow it down, and think about like the body mechanics and the leverage versus like sheer force.
That's a good point too. You slow down when you can, right?
Yeah.
You're not in a hurry. Where's he gonna go? And you're paid by the hour, right?
Right, yeah. If you play your cards right, you might even get some overtime out of the deal.
OT, baby.
What would you say is the best way to do large-scale jiu-jitsu training if you can't do it at a gym, dojo? And I'd like to incorporate jiu-jitsu training in my police explorers. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Apple will approve our app this week, and you can use that because it's going to have absolutely everything that you need to train on your own time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at the push of a button. So yeah, stand by on that. If only my agency would. Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to our Invictus guys, Frankie. Those guys are doing some great stuff too. Anthony, Wolves. All right. You around while we wait for some more questions? Let's do it. From our feet again?
Sure.
Well, I like it. I like your style, Kyle.
Well, we need to train on our feet, right?
It's true.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, brother.
Notice neither of us is pulling guard.
No, we don't pull guard. You get kicked out of my house if you pull guard.
Again. Sweet.
You can start out again if you want.
That'll live forever on the internet. Again, twice. Whee!
Yeah.
I need to do that again. Another reel.
Oh, Brian killed me yesterday.
I bet he did.
At least he was nice about it.
Was he though?
Well,
I mean, talk nice after, I'm sure. That was dumb.
nice. Oops, sorry, bud. There you go.
No.
Just need a little more leverage to finish it.
Damn it.
I'm gonna triangle you.
Oh, sorry.
When we talk about it in stripes,
Yeah.
Kyle's punching me in the face. What a jerk.
I have a feeling I'm about to pay for it. How's that pendulum sweep?
My favorite.
That Vegas cop hit that on the street.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That video.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Right on the Las Vegas Strip. Hit that pendulum sweep.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys.
Derek was his name or something? Trains at Cobrinha in Vegas, a gym. It's my home away from home. I love those guys and gals. If you train at Cobrinha's in Vegas, much love.
Yeah. Shout out to Cobrinha too, man. He's that That dude is the man. If you don't follow Cobrinha, he's a fellow Alliance guy. Very, very talented dude.
So good.
He's a smaller guy too, isn't he?
Teeny tiny. He's the only guy to win every major European and American championship or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's a beast, man. Cobrinha's
his flexibility drills alone are incredible.
Going to my airport, I moved to Canada for a 2-year assignment. Damn. For Miami? I hope you didn't move there from Miami. I don't have any tips to build it back up other than just trying to start like a weekly grappling club at your PD. That's what I'm going to be trying to do once all this COVID nonsense is over with. What's your go-to crack a closed guard when you're on top? Having a tough time. Oh, yeah, Oliver Queen 09. That's a good question. We'll talk about a couple of those. So they're talking about like closed guard pass.
Yep.
You want to face, yeah, that way. So one that I use a lot. I usually go to my right. So if you're wearing a duty belt and you got your gun on that side, this one might be a little bit more difficult for the street. In real life, on the street, obviously you can throw elbows like you see in MMA and stuff like that. You can come up, throw elbows, but if you're just looking for like a fairly easy closed guard pass, I'll take the lapel, or if they're not wearing, if it's no gi, I'll just put my hand on their chest, but with the gi, I'll grab the lapel, and I keep my forearm kind of down, and this keeps Kyle from being able to come back up into me, right? Every time he tries to sit up, I apply pressure. From here, I'm gonna take my left leg, put my knee between his butt, and I'm gonna base out with my right leg, and I'm gonna start to push this foot down. Once I get that, I'm bringing this knee in, sliding it across, diving under for head control, controlling this leg so he can't wrap me up in half guard, long step, and then I'm working out to side control. So I'm gonna face that way. I'll show it from another angle. So we're here, keep him pinned down, knee goes between his butt. I start to push here, open it up, instantly bring this knee in, control, dive in for head control. Notice too, this foot, I'm leaving on top of his leg as I long step. So if he tries to turn back into me or wrap me up, he can't. And now when I'm ready, I can transition and go to side control from there. So that one's really good. Another one I like, do you want to face that way again? So for here, I'll take his lapels and I'll put him in his armpits, or just cup his armpits, right? And then I'll get to my feet and I instantly step one foot back and I drive my knee in between his butt cheeks. And that opens him up. Same concept as I just showed. Once I'm through, I usually try to dive over, control, long step, and pass the side control. So that one's like really uncomfortable. And it can be hard to hold on to that one. There are a million ways to pass closed guard.
I like that one when I'm going with a guy with really long legs.
Yeah, yep.
That's where I find that one. Somebody bigger than me too.
I find those two to be probably like the most successful out of all the things that I try. Because sometimes, as you guys know, closed guard can be a pain in the ass. Some guys are really, really good at it. And they can be hard to open them up. So give those a try. Let me know what you think. Shoot me a message. Play around with them. Any techniques when you go to grab a perp to handcuff and he pulls away? Yes, we do. We actually, Kyle and I filmed like a whole series on this, which will be available in our app. But typically, I think you're talking about like if he actually is able to pull the arm away. If I can keep it and I can drag this across my body and turn his hand in and cup underneath his shoulder, I'm in this wrestler's Russian tie position. From here, all I really need to do to take out of the ground is apply pressure on the back of his shoulder and step out and drive down to the ground. So that's one option for you. I'll show that again real quick. So I grab onto Kyle, like, all right, bud, let's go. He starts pulling away. I pull this across my body, pressure in, take him down to the ground. That's if I'm able to keep the arm. If he's able to pull his arm away, I say this all the time, as cops, we forget about the legs. Don't forget about the legs. So usually what we'll see on the street, this guy pulls it away. What does the cop usually do? Tries to grab onto it again, right? Pulls it away. Maybe he gets it, and now we're playing tug of war. Forget about the arm. Fuck the arm, right? He pulls it away, lower our base, basic single leg. Here, take him down to the ground. So as soon as he pulls that arm away, if I can't get it back, don't worry about grabbing onto it again. Don't worry about playing tug of war. Just transition to a low single, drive in. If you're not familiar with single legs, a couple of key concepts. I'm gonna put my forehead right in Kyle's ribs and I'm gonna drive into him, because what that does is it helps lift his leg off the ground without me having to like try to force it. Because if I just drop my hips and I grab onto Kyle's leg and I try to pick it up, yeah, he can start to stuff my head. He can be really strong with this leg and it might be really hard for me to pick that up. But if I'm here and I drive into him, look what happened. He's already off balance as I start to drive. Now, I can dump him, leg drag, knee on stomach. We should shoot one of that today.
Well,
Like open guard passing for a suspect that's on their back,
yep.
flailing their legs around.
The bad head. He's like, all right.
Yeah, you see this stuff a lot. Like, I really like, first and foremost, you gotta control the tops of the feet or at the ankles, one of the two. And then from here, I really like the leg drag right to knee on the stomach. So it's gonna face that way. If this suspect's on the ground kicking and we know we gotta get control of him and he's following us, first thing I wanna do is try to control being mindful of not getting kicked in the face.
That was really good. I didn't ease up on him. He just hit my ankles.
Yeah, so you gotta time it, right? I want to control the tops of the feet. And then as I'm ready, it doesn't really matter which side, treat it just like an arm drag. So I'm gonna pull this across my body, drag it, and I'm standing in close, and then I can go right into knee on stomach from there. So again, if he's flailing around, we can trap here, work into knee on belly, side control, whatever. So the leg drag could be a really good one from there. Me and Crosby showed a couple last week where you control the legs.
Yep.
Some different options to mess with. So Anthony Gonzo, hopefully that gives you some ideas on the arm stuff. Wads, BJJ, what's up, homie? Thanks for tuning in, man. Hey, if you guys are, if you guys are not following Jay Wadsworth, go follow him right now, please. He's awesome. He's got a ton of great stuff on weapon retention. He's got a ton of great stuff in general, but his weapon retention stuff's awesome. He's a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, fellow cop out in New York. Super good dude. So if you're not following him, go check him out.
New York, working that Rubik's Cube of a law book.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, that'd be tough, man. How many fights is your go to clinching, folding him over into the ground? I love how would go from start when you know a fight's coming. The barrage of punches are coming, fights on, your go-to clinching and folding him over to the ground. Yeah, so if you know the guy's gonna fight with you and he's gonna be trying to punch you, or maybe he's already throwing punches, close the distance, all right? So I wanna keep covered up, but I wanna close this distance, and if he's throwing several punches like that with both hands, I'm taking my forehead, I'm covering up, I'm rushing him, and I'm gonna put my forehead right on his chest. So I'm here, and then I'm taking the tops of my hands, and I'm controlling his biceps, here. So now, when I'm ready, oops, sorry, right? So I wear mouth guards. Now I can work into my clinch position. So I have my body fold takedown, I can sit through, I can hip throw, I can capture his leg and turn him and take him down that way. But that's the biggest thing, right? If this guy, I know he's gonna fight with me, or he's already starting, he starts to throw punches, how to come in here, close that distance, wrap him up in the clinch. I think that's probably the most important piece to it. What I don't wanna do is start to like fall backwards and try to block these punches like that, because it's not gonna work. And I'm gonna be off balance. So, something to consider. Thoughts on going to double underhooks or seatbelt when they pull away.
Guessing on a here?
Are you talking about from like behind them? I probably wouldn't go double underhooks from the front unless Kyle maybe grabs onto my gi we've shown this one before, where I swim up and I'm here and I trap both arms. I can take him down to the ground. But in terms of like, if you're talking double underhooks, like here, like you would from a butterfly position, I probably wouldn't do it from the front. Maybe from the back. You might be able to come here and kick a leg and bring him down to the ground. That might work. Or just do the one and that chin strap takedown that we showed earlier. That'd be a good option for you. I hope I answered your question.
Did you tell them about your jams here?
Oh, no, I have not. So, if you guys are on Apple or Spotify, it's a new thing we're starting. I'm always struggling with what music to play when we roll. And I think everybody is, like, God, what should we listen to? So I'm going to create Jiu-Jitsu 50 grappling playlists that you guys can follow along and grab off of Spotify or Apple Music. So, yeah, for what it's worth. If you're ever looking for stuff. So, I love music. I'm a huge music fan. I like all genres of music. Did you find mine?
Yep.
The first one?
Jiu-Jitsu 50.
Some flow rolls. I think that's the first one.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, come be friends with me and Kyle and everybody on Spotify or Apple Music. Wads, yes, I knew someone would appreciate the playlist. Am I right, though? Like, we always are like, God, what should we listen to? It happens at the start of every class. We do it over here at my house, like, what should we listen to today? And so I'm just going to create a bunch of playlists, and then I think you can collaborate, too. People can, like, add them.
Yeah.
Or, like, add songs to your playlist and stuff. So
if you make it public.
That'd be cool.
I'm going to add a bunch of Britney Spears later.
Yeah.
It's like Britney month, right, or something?
Free Britney.
Yeah.
Isn't she, like, entrapped or something in her house? Poor Britney. There's plenty of tech, but your go-to if someone grabs your shirt, one hand or two hand. Real quick, Frankie, we are going to have an Android version of the app. We're just starting with Apple, probably because they're the biggest pain in the ass to work with. So I want to get that approved and done, and then I'll get into the...
Be an adult and buy an iPhone. I'm kidding.
Or actually, yeah, just trade in your phone, Frankie, and then buy an iPhone just so you can have the Jiu-Jitsu 50 app.
Frankie's going to come to Minnesota and beat me out. I wouldn't blame him.
Go to if someone grabs your shirt. So a lot of grip breaks. We have a whole series on this too. One I really like is either grab the wrist, 2-on-1 with the wrist, and you do have to be mindful if they're going to try to punch you in the face, right? So you kind of always have to monitor for that, but one I like is either 2-on-1 with the wrist, or if they've got a jacket, hoodie, whatever, and you can grab a sleeve. I'm here and I start to shake it as I push it up and out. It seems weird, but that shake, it makes it difficult for him to hang on to it as I do that. And then I'm also kind of pushing myself back as I go up and away from the grip break. Another one that I like is coming up and over the top of the hand, grabbing my own shirt or my vest and ripping this away from Kyle, right? Now, you could also argue, I could probably punch Kyle in the face. I could probably elbow him, I could uppercut. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do, but if maybe the situation doesn't call for that, those are two pretty easy grip breaks, and I would say they work pretty goddamn well.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not going to punch some 80-pound, 18-year-old female at a high school
right
in the face. And if you are, it's because you like being on YouTube and you like unpaid days off.
And we all know that happens. I wrestled with a 100-pound 60-year-old drunk lady once because I wouldn't let her get into her car to drive it home.
Oh.
I was like, I don't even want to deal with you right now. I just don't want you to drive your car home.
Can I see your keys?
And so she's like, she wanted to fight with me about it, and so I felt really bad.
I fought a woman in a nursing home once. 82. She tried to bite me. It's like, God.
You probably deserved it.
I also fought a poop throwing Jesus in a wheelchair. He told me he was Jesus.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe he was.
He called me some names too.
Were they derogatory
They were.
for your against your
my
Asian culture?
favorite when someone throws a "Hey, you fucking cheat," say, "Well, born in Korea, so technically I'm a gook." Stops it every time. That mental jiu-jitsu. That was terrible.
I think it's hilarious.
Mildly insensitive.
Well, you know,
Whatever.
you're Korean though. You can. What if someone's trying to pull the arm away from the front and trying to handcuff them? I would say arm drag, probably. So are you talking like if I'm here and they're trying to pull it away and they're backing out, I would probably try to arm drag to the back. Or again, going back to what we talked about before, letting it go and just transitioning to a single leg. So if he pulls that away, coming here. Another takedown I've actually been playing around with a lot lately is kind of from like the shoulder lock position. So let's say we're in here playing this tug of war. I showed this in my vehicle extraction series too, but if I transition and come up underneath his shoulder and I gable grip, I can either grab onto the back of his head and push this down in between his legs, or I can just apply pressure here and step out and take you down here. And I can take him to the ground this way, and I'm maintaining control of this arm the whole time. And again, we can go right into our Kimura. The other way to do that, if I'm having trouble getting the leverage here, I can start to take this, and I'm basically gonna think about pushing it down under between his two legs. So I'm here, and we end up in this position. So that's a really good takedown. I actually just used that yesterday when I was training stand-up with somebody. We were like in here, right? Kind of doing this kind of thing, and I transitioned here, started to drag him down, and we ended up in a good spot. That might be a good one for you to play around with. Kimura from standing, a non-compliant subject. I like the 2-officer Kimura a lot. So if my partner and I, he's on this side, if we both come in, grab same side wrist, over under, and now we both establish this Kimura, can walk the guy up, pin him against a wall, squad, or I can take him down from there. So I've got this, maybe my partner's got the other arm, I just tell my partner, hey, let go. I'm gonna apply pressure as I step out. So here, and I can take him down to the ground. That can be a really good option. We've been playing around with that 2-officer Kimura a lot, and I found it to be really effective, especially when you have someone pinned up against a wall. If someone's fucking around and you can't get cuffs on that, or like they're being really strong and you have them pinned up against the wall, this is a really strong position if both guys are doing it, right? So like, I can't just do this by myself. It's probably not gonna work as well, but like, if me and my partner are both here and I can apply pressure as he butts, just driving that arm up. The other thing I really like about this was once I have this and my partner has it on this side, I can access my cuffs. I can let go because I still have good control of this arm. I can let go to access my cuffs and tell my partner, okay, I got cuffs, whatever. So think about that, play around with it, let me know what you think. We showed that video and I got some messages from other cops that told me they used it like on duty and it worked really well for them. So I always like to hear that stuff. I'll stick to my Android. You guys stick to your Apple skinny jeans and chai lattes.
There's nothing wrong with a chai latte.
No, I will say that chai lattes are good. Skinny jeans I can get behind if they have that stretchy material.
Jorts, jeggings.
I'll rock
jeggings.
all that stuff.
It's all about comfort when you get to the age of 40, right?
Right, yeah, I just turned 40. You really stop caring about what you look like and the clothes you wear. It's all about comfort, like everything.
He's got a point.
Corona's made it more acceptable. I think more people now
Sweatpants.
just wear sweatpants every day. Yeah, 100%. Me too. The nursing home. Sounds like everyone's had to wrestle around with somebody at a nursing home at some point.
It's sad because it's your grandma and she's just lost her mind is all.
Yeah. TX Orlando, we are located in the warm and tropical state of Minnesota.
It's like 28 degrees today.
Yeah, it's warming up. It's going to be 40s this week, so...
The 4 inches of snow we got this morning is almost completely melted.
You'll see people driving with their tops down this week, for sure.
Motorcycles, for sure.
Like that takedown. Thanks, bro. Partner usually grabs his taser, scared to go hands-on. Yeah, in Minnesota where we work, especially in the wintertime, like tasers never work because people are wearing 15 sweatshirts or 3 jackets.
Trying to collect aphids in 30-degree weather.
It's silly. Just grab the person and throw them on the ground.
Beat them up.
I'm with you on that.
Just kidding.
Last question, can you please show front headlock escape if the normal way when you step to the other side with arm over shoulder doesn't work? I think I know what you're saying. So we've shown a couple in the past, like usually it's here. Yeah, so you can monitor that punching arm with this outside hand here. And I can trap this against Kyle's waist. If I grab his wrist and I start to walk in and push my hips up underneath him, notice what happens to his body. He's a little bit, he doesn't have a lot of leverage from there, right? So if I can do that, then I can just step out enough to create the space to duck under and get out of the headlock. That doesn't always work, right? Another one that you can consider, if he's high up, and maybe he's even got this like Gable Grip and he's squeezing here, I can create a frame and start to drive him this way, grab the back of his knee, again, walk in, get him up onto my hips, take him down to the ground, go from there. That's another option. If he's really cranking down, do you mind if I roll underneath you?
Oh, go ahead.
You know which one I'm talking about. We'll back up a little bit. So if he's got me down here and I can't get that leverage to get back up, and maybe I can't create this frame, I'm just gonna do an over the shoulder roll like you would do in Jiu-Jitsu warm-ups, right? You wanna come this way just a little bit. Yep. So he's cranking here. I'm gonna take this arm, dive underneath Kyle. So I'm here.
Woo! That's a fancy
Takedown
shit.
again. You get style points for that one.
For sure.
That's not going to be your first go-to option, but if the dude's really cranking down on you, that might be your only option if you don't have the leverage, right? So one more time with that. If I'm here, maybe I try the first one and I can't get up. Maybe I'm trying this one and I can't. Dive underneath him here. Yeah. Good chiropractic adjustment for me as well, but that's an option. Do you also cares your opponent hair when in the scarf hold and tell them to let it happen? I find I enjoy it the most when I maintain eye contact. Love it. Guillotine, Anthony, are you talking about guillotine defense or you just like guillotines? Love the technique, but doing it in a gym and on meth head are two totally different things. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I said, I don't know what technique specifically you're talking about, but these like Jiu-Jitsu works again, no matter if you're high on meth or whatever. Jiu-Jitsu works, right? It's grappling, it's fighting. Some techniques are going to be easier to do against people in a controlled environment and on mats. Like I don't want to do that roll on concrete necessarily, but I also will preface that or follow that up with, I might not have the option. I might not have a choice. Like if he's really cranking down, what are my options? Let him throw me on the ground and get into that scarf hold position and then punch my face in? Probably not. So yeah, I agree with you. Like there are things that are not going to look as pretty or be as easy in a real world environment. But like at the end of the day, Jiu-Jitsu works.
And you work with what you got.
Right.
I've had to pull guard on the street before. I had, fell to my back and I held him in guard and I held him broke down until two cops got there to handcuff him.
Well, and that's another thing that we talk about a lot is like having tools. It's better to have the tools and not need them than to need them and not have them. So if you never train any sweeps from your back because you don't think you're ever going to get to that position or you would never go to that position on the street, well, you might not necessarily have that choice. Like you might get knocked to the ground and now what do? If I can't stand back up, I need to have some options to keep this guy away from me or to sweep him to the ground, right? So like Kyle and I, we work this a lot, like these basic sweeps. Even like the open guard stuff, right? Like if I get knocked down and I get my feet up to Kyle's hips and start to control his hands, well, that takes away his ability to punch me in the face. And now I'm in control from here, right? I can go here, sweep him that way. I can do this sweep where I cut underneath him here. I can go to extra. There's a lot of things you can do from that position,
Grab my
right?
ankles with your feet here. Just grab my ankles and...
Yeah, or yeah, if he's pressuring into me and my knees come up here, so pressure in. This basic sweep where you grab the back of Kyle's ankles and I'm just here, right? And now I can sit up and go right into mount. I don't want to do those things on concrete. I don't want to do those things on the street, but I might not have the option, right? Like, again, you might knock me to the ground and now I'm kind of stuck and I need to know what to do from there, I guess is my point.
It's considered a response to resistance, not a use of force.
Yeah. Standing guillotine defense. I'm assuming you're talking about from like the front. One that we show a lot. First things first, tuck my chin and look into his belt line. Try to grab his wrist to alleviate a little bit of that pressure. And then I'm gonna drape this arm over and make myself really heavy. I'm gonna walk around this way. Come this way just a little bit. Yeah. So we're here. I'm gonna start to walk around, tap his knee, and turn him to the ground. It's almost like a body fold takedown. That's usually the one I go to. The most, like, let's say I shoot in for a double, and he wraps up my neck. I immediately try to alleviate pressure here, drape my hand over, and I make myself heavy so he can't try to like pick me up off the ground. So that's usually what they do. Then I start to walk around, knee tap, boom. And obviously if he holds on to it, you can von flute him.
Yeah, von flute.
Now, which brings up a good point, can I choke this guy on the ground with a von flute choke? 100%. He just tried to tear your neck off.
Yeah.
He's applying pressure on your neck. You could absolutely use that in that scenario. So,
state statute says when you use it, it's deadly force. It's deadly force.
right. Yep. So, I think the same holds true for the bad guy. If you're in control from bottom close or half guard, and your partners arrive in the dog pile, should you stay under the perp and use him as shield and maintain your control? Probably not. I don't like being on my back. Unless I have to, Frankie. Like if I have a guy in closed guard and my partners get there, I'm probably gonna open up, let them pull him off of me so I can get back into the fight. I don't want to stay down there longer than I have to, especially if I'm on concrete. I've been in fights where my partner got pulled into closed guard, and yeah, same thing. We just come in, grab the guy, pull him away from him so my partner can get back up.
That was that one instance where I had where we pulled a guy out and someone was trying to help, right, that didn't know what they were doing, and I ended up getting pulled down to this position here. So instead of letting him sit up, right, I went into his hooded sweatshirt, and I pulled him down here, and I kept him here until my backup arrived, and I'm like, go ahead and cuff, right? So then, you know, put your hands back behind your back, like you're being cuffed.
Here.
And then they're like, all right, stand him up, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point, and Kyle brings up a really good point. If you find yourself in closed guard and you're waiting for your partners, if you can't set up like a basic sweep or something, sometimes it's as easy as just establishing a good position to keep the guy pinned down. So I like coming out, get one underhook, pull him in with my legs, Gable Grip, and I'm bringing my elbows in nice and tight. It's gonna be really difficult for him to do much here. Punch me in the face, whatever I can carry my head. And nice and tight. So that's something to consider if you find yourself on your back and you can pull a guy into closed guard. He'll gas himself out pretty quick. As you guys know, that can be a really, even if you do that in training on the mats, it's hard to get up from there.
And I think everybody remembers their first time on a jiu-jitsu mat if you train. The first time someone pulled guard, right? You're like, what the hell is, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about jiu-jitsu and somebody does that to you, you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yep. 100%.
Remember the mental game.
Yep. That brings up another point that I've been wanting to talk about is training on the mats versus like in the street. Because you hear that a lot, like, well, that's nice on the mats, but that would never work in real life. Okay. Well, A, it does. We all know it does because we've all grappled with people in the street and we know that fundamental grappling will win fights. But what are the alternatives, right? Like, this is the closest thing that we can get to real fights without actually like having to like just destroy each other or go train on concrete or physically punch each other in the face. Jiu-Jitsu will let us simulate what it's like to go against another person who's trying to resist you with 100% intensity. And it's one of the few martial arts that allows you to do that. You can't do that with Krav Maga because you can't realistically train to stab somebody in the throat, right? You can't realistically train to throat punch somebody or to eye gouge somebody. There's not really a way to train that, but you can train how to control Kyle while he's trying to resist you with all of his might. And that also is like the most realistic thing that we deal with on the street. Like most of the stuff that we deal with is not like big knockout, drag out, you know, crazy MMA fight. It's usually a guy that's just like trying to get away from us. How do we control him safely and efficiently so everybody wins, nobody gets hurt, and it's through grappling. And so I get the idea of like, well, it's not the same on the street, but you're never going to be able to fully like replicate a street fight unless you go train on concrete, which I'm not going to do that because I'm 40 years old.
And I would argue that a lot of the fights that I've gotten into or tussles have been indoors in someone's living room during a domestic.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, you're going to jail. No, I'm not. You know, and then a number of things happen, but if you know, at least have those tools. And I think another thing that we underscore is the confidence level, right? You have spent the last how many months, years, decades training with somebody on top of you, you know, who weighs 50 pounds more than you with their knee in your gut, whatever. When it happens on the street, you're not going to panic because you've been doing it three times a week for the last 10, 8, 6, 4 years. And I think a lot of it's mental. Because I remember my first fight as a cop, and I hadn't trained jiu-jitsu yet.
Yeah.
It's panic city. Your muscles won't go tight, and the adrenaline dump and everything else. Where now, you know, I mean, they got a guy. I'm an investigator now, so I don't even wear a uniform. So I don't have half of the, like, I'm not carrying a taser, I'm not carrying pepper spray.
Do you have real bullets in your gun, or
I'm not sure. So
rubber?
they gave me a different gun, and I haven't looked yet because detectives don't check their firearms, right?
Right.
We check for donuts and coffee first.
Yeah.
But no, so I don't have those tools, so I had to rely. I had a guy, you know, you're going to jail, and for a felony that's probably going to put him in prison for several years. He didn't want to go. He's in his own living room around his boys, and he's acting tough, and I didn't panic because I knew he wasn't going to beat me.
Right.
It's like, I don't know what he's about to do because it's a response to resistance, but I know that he's not going to win, and I know that if he, you know, even gets an advantageous position on me, that I've got a radio, and then I'll call for help, and I'll hold him until I get help.
Yeah.
So
the confidence thing is huge.
not panicking.
That's a big thing that's like overlooked, because yeah, you can look at any martial art and be like, oh, that'll train you to like be able to like handle yourself in a fight. But as we know, a lot of our job and a lot of like fighting in general is mental. There's a huge mental aspect of it, and you have to be super confident when you go into it. You can't second guess yourself, and when you go to fight, you have to commit to what you're doing. If you half-ass it, even if you're really good at fighting and you go in and you half-ass it, it's not going to go well for you.
Yeah. So,
and you probably have seen that in training. Like if you're not feeling it in training, you're like, I'm just gonna let's see how it goes. You get your ass kicked. No. So jiu-jitsu helps build like those mental calluses, I think, and builds that confidence. I think that's a really good point.
Ron Swanson said it best: don't half-ass two things, whole ass one thing.
Frankie, I'm a smaller dude, but I'm a purple belt and I can keep a big guy tied up. Hell yeah, dude. That's exactly what this thing's all about. Yeah, any purple belt and above, like if you're smaller, and especially if you're going against somebody that doesn't know anything, it's not going to be super difficult for you to control that person. So
well, okay, so I'm 5'10" 180, and what are you?
5'7", 165.
And you just watched him for the last 45 minutes mop the floor with me. So.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like
I know more than your average meth head, tweaker, crack smoking, douchebag. But.
Yep. It's all just like time on the mat though, and like continuing to like just get your ass kicked on a daily basis.
I think it's a lot of it's just the confidence.
Yep.
You know.
All right. Frankie, me and you are about the same size, brother. Yeah. God was not, he didn't give me the big guy genes, unfortunately. I don't know why. My dad's like 6'1". His brother's like 6'3". Played college football.
Didn't finish your milk in
No,
school, right?
Yeah, that could be. I don't know what it is.
Finish your green beans, drink your milk.
Maybe my mom drank too much.
Oh, wow.
When I was in the womb, that could be too. I don't know.
My mom left me at an orphanage in Korea. So, true story.
I guess you have it worse than I do.
If we're having a Russian Olympics, I'm going to win that one.
All right, what should we do? Everyone's leaving us. We're boring the shit out of people. I think we answered everyone's questions.
Yeah.
Being a white belt for 2 months, I know how it feels to get fucked up, but it does build that confidence. Can't wait for that. Absolutely, yeah. Just keep showing up. That's all you got to do. That's the magic sauce. Keep training. Don't be afraid to lose. There's no losing, but don't be afraid to get your ass kicked. I still get my ass kicked all the time, every day. There's lower belts that will kick my ass some days. It's just like, it's part of the process. So you just have to like take that and understand like why you're training. You're doing it for a reason, and have fun with it too, you know? So don't get too worked up if you are getting your ass kicked a lot.
Don't chase stripes, don't chase a belt.
JRAD51, thoughts on Judo. I don't know if you watched my reel that I posted yesterday. I love Judo. I'm very new to it. I'm starting to learn it. One of the guys that I train with, one of my instructors, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but he's also an Olympic Judo player. He competed 4 separate Olympics for the USA Judo team. Brian Olsen is his name. Phenomenal dude. Phenomenal at Judo, obviously. He was in the fucking Olympics.
He hosted the seminar, the law enforcement seminar.
He hosted a law enforcement seminar at his gym that Kyle and I taught at, and I really like Judo. I really like Judo for the street. There's a lot of takedowns that you can use that don't force you to go to the ground. They allow you to stay on your feet while you take the other guy to the ground. For example, like we were training one yesterday, so I'm gonna do like an inside leg trip where I'm gonna hook your leg and drive you that way. So one that we were learning on Tuesday, I've got Kyle's lapel, I control the sleeve, and when I go to step in, I'm pushing up, I'm kind of opening him up, and this back foot's coming in here, and I'm coming in and I'm hooking this leg. So I'm here, boom, hook, and I take him to the ground. And notice I was able to stay on my feet and kind of control the descent of the takedown. It's really like, I should say it's simple, because it takes a little bit to like understand the concepts behind it.
Yep.
And I'm still practicing it, but I really like that takedown. And there's a million of those things from Judo that, like I said, allow you to stay on your feet. So if you have access to someone that is like a Judo black belt, or maybe like they're not a Judo black belt, but they've been training in it for a while, that can teach you takedowns, absolutely, I would say add that to your game. Because one thing cops really suck at is takedowns.
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu guys too in general, myself included. I used to suck bad at takedowns until I was like, you know what? I need to be a complete grappler, and I want to be better at from my feet. So you guys will notice, like when me and Kyle train together, we'll start from our feet a lot, and sometimes we look like complete buffoons, not knowing what we're doing. But we work it out, and that's, again, it's a great way to build confidence. It's a great way to kind of understand, like, oh, well, I tried this the last time and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one thing that I took from the very limited Judo exposure I've had from like Alex and Gary Foster and Ryan is that there's always like an there's a distraction just before, like a misdirection where, like, you know, you're getting that person to open up right before you come into something else.
Yeah.
I love Judo for that, where it's that mental game where you're just like,
it's a lot like jiu-jitsu in that, where it's like a chess match.
Yeah.
Like, how can I'm gonna be 3 moves ahead of Kyle, right? Like, I know if I pull Kyle this way, well, now I've got him right where I want him for that throw, right? And so I'm kind of a couple steps ahead of him. That's just like a small example.
Yep.
But it's very comparable, I feel like, to jiu-jitsu in that regard. That's a good point, like the mental aspect of it. So Judo, that's a very long-winded answer to your question about what I think about Judo. I tend to go on tangents. Is that the new 5-0 Rash guard? Yeah, dude, this is it. This is the sample that I ordered before we like put these out for everybody. But this is what it looks like. We adjusted the sizing a little bit. This one is this is a large. I usually wear a medium, so we made them a little bit bigger, so they're going to be more true to size. Like the fundamental Rash guards that we have, they have a little bit more room in them. So that's what we did with these.
Go order this rash guard, like right now.
Yeah, I've got a few of those in production right now. If you're looking to get one of the long sleeve rash guards, I think you'll really like it.
I love it.
So yeah, they turned out pretty nice though.
Hell yeah. I'm wearing the spat, but I'm gonna spare you taking off my pants.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, we'll probably lose a few followers.
Probably.
Which is, I mean, it happens, but we
It's
try
like
to avoid it.
It's like your OnlyFans page, right? Where people pay you to keep your clothes on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. What time is it? Almost 4? All right. What about some purple on there? Yeah, we might do a ranked version eventually. I think I've been thinking about that. We're definitely on the in the plan.
If you guys have Facebook,
It's not ranked, Frankie. That's just my color blue. So it's the Jiu-Jitsu 5.0.
yeah.
These aren't ranked rash guards.
Nope.
This is just like our brand blue that runs up the sides of them.
It's this blue right here, right?
Yep. Same thing that's in our logo. So those aren't ranked rash guards. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
I'm not really a blue belt. I just play one on TV.
Let's see. Curious about Telio's question above as well. Did we miss one? We might have. How do you articulate BJJ moves in your use of force reports? Yeah, so that is a good question. You can, what I always tell people is just describe it in detail.
Yeah.
You can name the technique, but talk about what you did. So if I say that I used arm drag takedown to the rear clinch to take Kyle down to the ground, and then I established a Kimura to get him into handcuffs, that's not as good as I used an arm drag to get to Kyle's back, which consisted of me taking my right arm and controlling his left wrist. I then grabbed underneath his left tricep and I pulled his arm across his body and worked around to his back. I then established a rear clinch, which consisted of me lowering my base, wrapping him up at the waist, clasping my hands together in what is commonly known as a Gable Grip. You can kind of see where I'm going with it, right? The more detailed that you can be, the better. Obviously, I'm a use and force instructor at my department. We preach this all the time, like in the academies.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. I was gonna go yell at my children and his
Our
children.
children. Not ours.
Yeah, look, they could be ours.
Right.
So just articulate it and be super detailed in your report and what you did. That's the best way I can describe it. Hopefully that helps. All right, well, I don't know if we have anyone else on our Facebook group. I've got 2 phones going on here. If you guys are on Facebook, we do have like a private Facebook group that we just started a couple weeks ago, so please go join that. We'll post questions, videos, techniques. We want to learn from all you guys too, so if there's something that you're working on that you want to share with the group, we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, go check us out on Facebook. I don't know if anyone is on our group right now, maybe. Sorry about the camera angle, guys. We were a little bit, we got 2 things going on here. Yeah, that BJJ dude, anytime, man. I'm glad that you were able to, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we gave you some stuff to think about. All right, yeah, follow us on Facebook, join the group, and
Jiu-Jitsu
we'll
50
keep in
fam.
touch. Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu 50 fam on Facebook. Scuba Steve 200, law enforcement only on Saturdays. That's awesome. It's fun to train with other cops because you can talk about some stuff that maybe wouldn't apply in like sport jiu-jitsu, but maybe would apply on the street. So it's always good to mix it up. Love it. All right, I think we're gonna train some more and go from there. Everybody have a good weekend, and we will talk to you soon.
Boss.
Boss.